Okay, everybody, this is the Elder again. This is video number 2, I think. I didn't want to make the first one too long, so I'm going to the second one. I continue with my talk on why the human race is in this rabbit hole that we're in. And I'm talking about the whole human race now. I'm not talking about blacks, whites, Indians, Chinese, or nothing like that. I'm talking about the human race itself. Now, another thing that has us in this rabbit hole is I hear people talking about we need to go back to our homeland, especially we African Americans. We need to go back to our homeland. Okay, let's go back to Africa then. But there are generally two schools of thought on this whole idea of the human race origin. Some people say the human race started in Africa and spread north, east, and west. And some other people say, no, the human race started in Europe and spread south, east, and west. Okay, so that means that if you are a Chinese, your homeland is either in Africa or Europe. If you are a Russian, then your homeland is either in Africa or Europe. If you're an African, then your homeland is either in Europe or Africa. I mean, there's two different homelands. Here's another alien thing. You're out in space. You meet these aliens. And within a matter of a few seconds, they learn your language and they tell you where their homeland is. They point out their homeland to you. It could be a giant planet with rings and stuff around it. Who knows? So they ask you, okay, where's your homeland? Now, when they ask you where's your homeland, you wouldn't say Manhattan. You wouldn't say Louisiana. You wouldn't say Chicago. You would say my homeland is planet Earth. Because that's where we are from. We are from planet Earth. And let's face it, we're stuck here. Everybody who left had to come back except those who died in space. They couldn't go anywhere. You can't move to Mars. You can't go to the satellite like in the movie Elysium. That satellite does not exist. It's just science fiction. So everybody who left had to come back. So we're stuck here. Now you think, as smart as human beings are, we're stuck here. You would think we could work together and make this planet a paradise. I mean, it's not impossible. We could do it. We could make this whole planet a resort if we put our minds to it. But people don't want to do that. Why? Because the way it stands now is working for a lot of people. They don't want to change. It's working. Why would they change it? It's working. Other people are suffering and dying and all kinds of stuff. But for a lot of people, it's working. Now, when I say work together, you got to understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we have to hug and kiss one another every second of the day. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we could work together in such a manner that we live our lives and respect other human beings, respect the planet, and try to live our lives in such a manner that we help and aid in making the human race better. The whole human race, not the black race, not the white race, say so-called, not the Chinese, not the Mexicans, not the Spanish, the human race. We work in such a manner that we make the human race better. We could do that. But people don't want to do that because, like I just said, for some people, the way it is now, as troubled as it is, it's still working for some people. Now, my next thing on the list that got us in this rabbit hole is language. Language. It's too bad we don't all speak the same language. I mean, the last time I checked, and I'm not sure about this, but I checked and it said there were over 7,000 different languages are spoken here on Earth. 7,000 languages. No wonder we can't understand each other. No wonder we get into fights and stuff. We don't understand it. I remember seeing this video some years ago where this Caucasian man was going on a walking trip through China. And he knew a little bit of Chinese. He was on a walking trip. Anyway, he came upon these 4 or 5 or 6 ladies, senior citizens, and they were doing some kind of ceremony. You didn't know what it was, but anyway, he could walk up to them, and it was a rural setting. It wasn't a city, it was in a rural setting, and he spoke to them, and they spoke, and before he walked off, he said a few words to them, and they started giggling. They started laughing. Like, are you serious? And he didn't know, so he just kept walking. And he got up to a Chinese man later on up the road, and that Chinese man spoke good English. And he told the Chinese man, I was talking to these ladies back there, and I said something, and they started laughing at me. Excuse me. So the Chinese guy said, well, what did you say? And he told him what he said. And the Chinese guy said, well, you know what you did? You said all these ladies were beautiful. They're all senior citizens. They were all beautiful. And they were so beautiful, you wanted to take one and marry her and take her back to Africa. Back to America. You wanted to marry one of these ladies and take her back to America. Take her back to America. And that's why they were laughing. Are you kidding? You want to take one of us back to America? So he didn't realize that's what he had said. Now here's the ugly part. He couldn't speak that much Chinese. Now, what if he had said something, not knowing that he had said it? What if he had insulted those ladies? What if he had insulted them some kind of way? Well, that could have turned out to be a lot different. He could have ended up in jail or ended up murdered if he had said something. But it just so happened that he said something that was kind of flattering, although they found it funny. So it's too bad we don't all speak the same language. Now, they have a device now that can translate the language. If I'm speaking to a Spanish person, I say in English, and the software and the little machine will translate it into Spanish. And then the Spanish person says something back to me, and the machine will translate it into English so I'll understand. I mean, it's a nice machine, but for some reason people don't like using it. But it does have, at least years ago when I first heard about it, it does have two flaws. Now, I don't know whether they corrected that or not, but one flaw is there is a delay. When I say something in English, the person on the other end have to wait for the machine to translate it and then speak. And when they say something back to me, the machine has to translate it and then say to me. So there's a delay. You can't just speak one-on-one on a continuing basis. There is a delay between languages. That's the first thing. The second flaw it has is not always 100% accurate. I could say something in English that may not be translatable into Spanish. So it can make those kind of mistakes. But as far as I can see, if they haven't improved it, and I'm sure they've improved it since I first heard about it, but it's a good machine. It lets people know what you're talking about. Because like I say, 7,000 languages, my goodness, it's no wonder we're in a rabbit hole. Most people think we're talking chatter. So language is a thing that has us in this rabbit hole. Another thing that has us in a rabbit hole is sex. Now, I don't know how to explain sex necessarily, but we've all heard the stories. A man found out his wife is cheating, so he murders her and the boyfriend. Or the wife find out that the man is cheating and she murders him and the girlfriend. And there's a whole thing about gay marriages and all kinds of stuff, and the prostitution and all that kind of stuff. And it's all revolved around sex. I remember from high school there was a story. I can't remember it exactly, but this king had a wife, a queen, and another king came along and abducted the wife from the first king. So the first king got his army together to go and rescue his queen from the other king. And in the meantime, she fell in love with the guy who had abducted her. So you had two kingdoms, two armies fighting over one woman. I mean, it had to be, when you peel away the onion skins, what was it about? Well, it was about sex. He wanted his queen for himself, and the other king wanted her for himself. So it boiled down to sex. And like I said, we have murders committed all the time over sex. Well, my boyfriend quit and I killed him. Well, my girlfriend quit me and I killed her. And we broke up and the family hasn't been together ever since. And that kind of thing. So sex has us divided. Because like I say, some people are greedy. They want all the women for themselves, and some women want all the men for themselves. So we're constantly fighting over that. Now, another thing that has us separated, and it don't seem like we're going to be able to get rid of it, is money. Money is this, money almost decides almost everything. Money. And if you have a lot of it, you're in good shape, I guess. And if you don't have a lot of it, you're in a bad shape. So money. Now, I don't know who Elon Musk is. I never met the guy, but I understand that he's clever when it comes to technology. I mean, Whether he can make potato salad or not is another story, but he's clever when it comes to technology. Now, he has 13 different children by 13 different women. Now, how can you have 13 different children by 13 different women? Did they like him? Did he like them? No, it's possible. Did they love him? Did he love them? Did they love him? That's possible. Okay, take a pause for this. The next one is, was it the money? Was it the money? Well, I can't rule that out. It could have been a combination of all three. But if I take those three, I'm going to say that money holds the top spot. Money holds the top spot. Okay, my producer is telling me again that I've come to about 10 minutes or so. And like I said, I don't like making long videos because I don't like watching long videos myself. So I'm going to say stay curious, and I will see you on the next video.